Replacement algorithm and performance consideration. When the cache is full and a new data or instruction not present in the cache is to be obtained from the main memory, some cache block has to swap to the main memory to make way for the new item. The set of rules that governs this decision making constitutes what is known as replacement algorithm. This is usually carried out by the cache control or hardware control unit with the support of an operating system. In the direct map cache, the cache block position is fixed. Hence, we cannot get the new space or new block space in the cache. So there is no replacement strategy will work out in the case of direct mapping. So associative and set associative mapping allows some flexibility. If a new block is to be brought into the cache controller must decide which respective old block need to be replaced. So it may affect the actual performance of the cache by delaying the actual read or write operations with respect to the cache. The replacement algorithms plays a critical role in determining the overall memory access pattern, and hence the system performance is computationally intensive. Many replacement algorithms exist like first in first out, optimal, and random like LRU, that is least recently used algorithm. So in the case of first in first out, we can assume that block 0 is the oldest block, and the cache, whenever the cache is full, we can replace the oldest blocks initially. So if a new block of information is required from the memory, so suppose if it is block n, the cache controller replaces block 0 with block n and stores block 0 back to the main memory. So the major advantages of first in first out are simple. Keep a timer for each block. The block residing for the longest time gets replaced for a new block. Easy to implement and less overhead in selecting the blocks to be replaced. Cache controller hardware design is very simple. So if the cache is full and new blocks are brought into the cache, then the cache controller must decide which of the old blocks has to be replaced. When a block is to be overwritten, the block with longest time being overwritten by the new data or new block. This block is called as least recently used block. That means the oldest block within the cache, which is called as least recently used block, and the technique is called as LRU. So whenever the cache is full, the cache controller or memory controller need to replace some set of old blocks from the cache. In order to perform that, it decides by considering the oldest block. So the oldest block will be replaced by the new block. The cache controller tracks the reference to all blocks. Cache controller or memory controller tracks the references to all the blocks with the help of block counter. So the major advantage of LRU, that is performance of LRU, is improved by randomness in deciding which block is to be overwritten. So in the case of LRU, this algorithm decides that the respective older block can be replaced with the new data block. So whenever the cache is full, some respective blocks from the cache will be copied or deleted from the cache, and such blocks can be copied in the main memory. So, but while deleting the blocks, we have to consider replacement algorithm. By considering the replacement algorithm, either the least recently used block or older block within the cache can be replaced, or with respect to the second algorithm like MRU. So in the case of MRU, most recently used blocks can be replaced with a new block. So suppose if you are having one cache block within the cache, suppose I'll consider this as block 0 within the cache, block 0. So this is nothing but cache, and so this respective block 0 is already utilized by the processor n many times. So many number of times the cache block is accessed by the processor. As per the algorithm, that is MRU, that is most recently used algorithm. So as per MRU, this algorithm decides that some respective blocks, and those respective blocks are already used by the processor many number of times, and such blocks will not be accessed by the processor in future. According to that concept, the most recently used algorithm, it will delete most recently used blocks or pages from the cache, so that such blocks can be copied from the cache into the main memory, and any new block can be copied into block 0 in this case. So that is how we can consider MRU and LRU algorithms under replacement algorithm. Whenever the cache is full, we can create the free space while copying the new blocks from the main memory into the cache. So next we'll consider performance consideration. Two key factors in the commercial success are performance as well as cost. In other words, the best possible performance at low cost. So we have to achieve better performance with respect to memory. We have to achieve better performance, but cost wise it should be of low cost. Performance depends on how fast the machine instructions are brought to the processor. So how we can decide the performance? The performance depends on how fast the machine instructions are brought to the processor. That means how quickly the instructions can be fetched by the processor from the memory. How fast, the second parameter is how fast the machine instructions are executed. That means how quickly we can execute the instructions within the ALU. So the first performance factor is how fast the processor can fetch the instructions from the memory. After fetching the instruction, how quickly the processor can execute those set of machine instructions. In order to achieve better performance, so we can adopt parallelism. So to achieve parallelism, that means we can execute more than one instruction in a given instant. So we can achieve by considering interleaving concept. Parallelism means both the slow as well as fast units are accessed in the same manner. So even if some set of units are fast or slow, we are not considering whether such units are operating either fast or slow. But in the case of parallelism, will combine both slow as well as fast units together, and the processor can access both the units in the same manner. Interleaving. Suppose that the main memory of a computer is structured as a collection of physically separate modules. Each module has its own address buffer register, as well as data buffer register. In this case, memory access can be done in more than one module at the same time. So in the case of interleaving concept, since the entire memory is structured as collection of a physically separate modules, and we can access more than one module in the given instant. Thus, the average data transfer rate to and from the main memory is increased. So either whenever the data is copied into the memory or else data is accessed from the memory, so I can say that the data rate is increased since we are accessing more than one module in the given instant. Interleaving memory is more flexible in the sense that it can handle multiple independent accesses at once. So we can consider two cases in the case of interleaving. So the first case is consecutive words in a module. So in the diagram we can observe that first case A, that is consecutive words in a module. So here we can observe that the higher order k bits which specifies name of one of the n module. So we are having, in case A, we are having higher order k bits of addresses name one of n modules, which specifies name of one of n modules. So this specifies name of one of any one module among n modules. We are having n modules total. Similarly, we are having lower order m bits which specifies a particular word in that module. So this specifies, so address in the module which specifies particular word in that module, So I can say that higher order k bits of address name one of n modules, and lower order m bit which specifies particular word in that module. When the consecutive locations are accessed, such as block transfer from the memory to the cache, only one module can be accessed. In the case of consecutive words in a module, we can access one module in the given instant. So we can observe that we are having module 0, module I, module n minus 1. So total we are having n modules. Each module will be having its own address buffer register and data buffer register. Address as well as data buffer register. So in the diagram we can observe that from the address buffer register, so we can sort all the address buffer registers of each module, and you can make the connections to the address in the module. So similarly, from the module we can connect to the next module, and we can directly connect to the module. So here we are having lower order k bit, higher order k bits, as well as lower order m bits. But in the case of consecutive words in a module, that is case A, so we can access only one module in the given instant. But we can adopt the concept of DMA, that is direct memory access, while transferring the data between cache and the main memory. We can adopt DMA concept while accessing the informations with respect to the modules. So similarly, we'll consider case B, that is consecutive words in consecutive modules. So here we can just reverse the values here, that is k bits module and m bit addresses. So we can just interchange now. So I can say that in other method, that is consecutive words in consecutive module, which is more effective and faster while compared with case 1. Here we replaced k order low order k bits, lower order, this is lower order k bit, and this is higher order m bits. But here we considered higher order k bits and lower order m bits. So here we just reversed, that's it. Hence, consecutive addresses are located in successive modules. During a block transfer, several modules can be busy at a given time. This results in faster access to block of data as well as higher average utilization of the main memory. To implement the interleaved structure, therefore, we can consider 2 power k modules. But in the case of consecutive words in a consecutive module, the major advantage is, so we can access more than one module in the given instant. But in the case of consecutive words in a module, we can access only one module in the given instant. Methods of addresses layout. So the first one is consecutive words in a module. Consecutive words are placed in a module. Higher order k bits of a memory address determine the module. Lower order m bits of a memory address determine the word within a module. When a block of words is transferred from main memory to the cache, only one module is busy at a time. The second one is consecutive words in a consecutive module. Consecutive words are located in consecutive modules. Consecutive words can be located in consecutive modules. While transferring a block of data, several memory modules can be kept busy at the same time. But here only one module will be busy in the given instant. So next we'll take hit rate and miss penalty. So successful access to data in the cache is called as hit. So if the data access with respect to cache is success, so then it is called as hit. The number of hits given as a fraction of attempted access. The number of hits stated as a fraction of attempted success is called as hit rate. It is called as hit rate. And the miss rate is the number of misses stated as a fraction of attempted success. So I can consider the one more parameter as miss rate. So that is nothing but the number of misses, stated as a fraction of attempted success. That is called as miss rate. Hit rates higher than 0.9 are essential for high performance. Always the value of hit rate should be greater than 0.9 in order to achieve better performance. Performance also gets affected by the action that must be taken after a cache miss. The extra time needed to bring the desired information from slower memory into the faster memories like cache is called as miss penalty. So the extra time needed to bring the desired information into the cache is called as miss penalty. This also indicates that processor is stated during this time since required instruction or data is not available for execution. The miss penalty is reduced if efficient mechanism for transferring data between different units of memory hierarchy are implemented. Memory design using interleaving is one approach to reduce miss penalty. So we can reduce miss penalty if you are adopting interleaving concept. Consider H is equal to hit rate Tm is equal to miss penalty and Tc is equal to the time to access information in the cache, time to access informations in cache. Therefore, average access time experienced by the processor is given as T average equal to H into Tc plus 1 minus H into Tm. So we can compute T average, that means the average access time experienced by the processor is given as T average equal to hit rate into time to access informations in cache plus 1 minus H into Tm, where Tm is equal to miss penalty. Similarly, we can compute T average if we are using L1 as well as L2 cache. So consider H1 is equal to hit rate in L1 cache. Similarly, H2 is equal to hit rate in L2 cache or level 2 cache, and TC1 equal to time to access L1 cache, and TC2 equal to time to access L2 cache, and Tm is equal to time to access main memory, Therefore, T average is equal to H1 into Tc1 plus 1 minus H1 into H2 into Tc2 plus 1 minus H1 into 1 minus H2 into Tm. So where Tm is a main memory access time after a cache miss. The hit rate depends on the design of the cache and on the instruction and data access pattern of the program. So therefore, with respect to two caches, that is level 1 and level 2 cache, if it is used, the average access time can be computed by considering this equation. So now we'll consider one problem. Consider a cache with 8 blocks. It takes one clock cycle to send an address to main memory. The first word is accessed in 8 cycles. Subsequent words are accessed in 4 clock cycles. Calculate total time needed to load the block in the cache using interleaved and non-interleaved memory. So first we'll consider a single memory module. Consider a single memory module that is without interleaving concept. So in the problem itself, they specified it takes 1 clock cycle to send an address to the main memory. So therefore, I can say that one clock cycle needed to send the address. One clock cycle is needed in order to send the address. So in the problem after that we mentioned that so 8 clock cycles needed to access the first word. So we need, in order to access the first word, we need 8 clock cycles. So next I'll consider we need around 8 clock cycles. 8 clock cycles needed to access the first word. In order to access the first word, we need 8 clock cycles. So after that, 1 clock cycle needed to send one word to the cache. So we need 1 clock cycle. 1 clock cycle is needed to send one word to the cache. And after that, we need around 4 clock cycles, 4 subsequent, that means remaining 7 words. So total we are having 8 words. Minus 1. So that is we considered here 1 clock cycle is required in order to send one word to the cache. 8 minus 1 means, so now we are having around 7 words. So in order to transfer remaining 7 words, we need 7 clock cycles. That means, so in order to transfer next 7 words, we need 4 clock cycles. So that means 7 words. So we are having around 7 words and we need 4 clock cycles. So therefore, the total time needed to load the desired block into cache. So next I will consider the total time needed to load the desired block into the cache. So that means 1 clock cycle which is required in order to send the address. 8 clock cycles are required in order to access the first word, and we are having subsequent words are accessed in 4 clock cycles plus last 1 clock cycle which is needed to send one word to the cache. So 1 plus 8 plus 7 into 4 plus 1. So total 38 clock cycles are required in order to load the desired block into the cache. Now we'll solve same problem using interleaving concept. Consider a memory with 4 interleaved modules. In order to access the module, we need 1 clock cycle. So that is 1 clock cycle plus all 4 modules can be accessed parallelly. Therefore, After 8 clock cycles, each module has one word of data in the respective data buffer register. So that is, I can consider plus 8, that is 8 clock cycles are required in order to copy the data into the respective register, that is DBR register, data buffer register. So once again, these 4 data are transferred to the cache during next 4 clock cycles. So in order to transfer the data from the data buffer register, that is TRB, into the cache, we need 4 clock cycles. Plus, once again 4 clock cycles are required to transfer these data into the cache. Once again, final 4 clock cycles are required in order to copy the data into the cache. So therefore, the total time required, so that is, if hence the total time needed to load the block from interleaved memory into cache, that is equal to 1 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4, so that is nothing but 17 clock cycles. 17 clock cycles. But without considering interleaving concept, we need around 38 clock cycles to load the desired block into the cache. But with the use of interleaving concept, so we can minimize the number of clock cycles required in order to load the data into the cache, so that is around 17 clock cycles. Calculate the total access time if miss rate is 0.12, miss penalty is 0.015 milliseconds and cache access time is 10 microseconds. So we have to calculate the total access time or T average. So in the problem, the values are directly given. So first we'll consider miss rate, that is equal to 0.12. Miss rate is equal to 0.12. Therefore, hit rate is equal to H, that is equal to 1 minus miss rate. 1 minus miss rate, that is nothing but 0.88. So cache access time TC, that is equal to 10 microseconds. The value is directly given in the problem. And miss penalty TM, that is equal to, that is also given 0.015 milliseconds. So we know the equation to compute T average, that is equal to T average, that is equal to H into TC plus 1 minus H into Tm. So that is equal to, we know the value of H, that is equal to 0.88 into the value of TC is given it as 10 micro, that is 10 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus 1 minus H is equal to 0.12 into Tm is 0.015 into 10 raised to minus 3. So we'll get the value of T average, that is equal to 10.6 microseconds. 10.6 microseconds. So this is how we can compute T average if the values of miss rate, hit rate and cache access time is given in the problem.